My name is Konstantin Perederiy. I'm a sales leader at Customertimes. Customertimes is a consultancy company focusing on solving complex digital problems for companies big and small with great enterprise technologies like Salesforce. Our primary differentiator is that we apply lean startup mindset, we apply product build mindset to large enterprise projects, which allows our customers to achieve those outcomes much faster, much better, and in a lower cost, and do their business more effective way. One of our key challenges that we faced before we introduced Revenue Grid was the ability to extract the right data about our planning, forecasting, about our pipeline, making sure that you can easily stay on top of the key deals, track progress of those deals. One other big challenge was ability to understand what is really happening with the deal, where the cycle is progressing. You always have to talk to a rep. And there were the data that we had in the system with standard reporting was very limited. Revenue Grid was selected due to several reasons. First of all, is ability to track detailed data to understand progress on deals and understand what's really going to go and what may be stolen deal, which is very important for our sales leadership as well as for the overall sales team. Now we have that ability with Signals. We are sourcing data from Outlook, so we can actually track deals in a much more objective fashion. Second reason was analytics. The analytics that we can now do on our pipeline and reporting is a real differentiator, both for just the amount of time our sales team spends on that analytics, as well as from the perspective of tracking that, making sure that we are focusing on the right business. Last reason, which may not be the main one, but also a very important one, is the ability to track time of our team and how our team allocates their time between internal and external activities, and making sure that they are focusing on the right thing and focusing on the customer. There are a few ways how we use Revenue Grid. Number one, we use it for our pipeline call that we have, the entire leadership on, and we have reporting and making decisions about where to focus efforts of our organization, primarily sales organization, but also pre-sales organization. So we use Revenue Grid to run that call. Before Revenue Grid, it was really hard to prep that call. We had to deal with a lot of Excel files, data was decentralized, and there were always challenges with understanding what's right and what's wrong. Now it's, the time to prep is practically zero, because you're literally using your system and you're using the analytical capabilities of that system. So that's kind of one big usage of Revenue Grid. The second one is on the daily basis, as a sales leader, I'm able to use Revenue Grid to understand the progress, drill down, see if there are active exchanges that are happening, or maybe some of my team members are not working too hard, or maybe someone who's working too hard. So I can regulate, I can manage the team much better and track progress at the same time. We received several benefits out of using Revenue Grid. I believe number one, the biggest one, is the amount of time we now have to spend on preparing pipeline reporting and tracking deals internally, having internal interactions within the team. We should be focusing on our customers and creating and driving outcomes for them. So we try to minimize the internal time, and I think Revenue Grid really helps in that. We probably save roughly 30 to 40% of time, maybe a little bit even more, in those activities, which we really enjoy. There are a few other factors, there are a few other benefits that are directly or indirectly connected to this time factor. For example, we are able to bring in deals faster because we spend less time on figuring out what to do and figuring out on which deals to focus. So we are focusing on the most important deals. Last but not least, just an overall probability of bringing the deal in really increases when you start managing and tracking your pipeline in the most appropriate way. And I believe Revenue Grid helps a lot in that area. There are quite a few ways how we want to improve our usage of Revenue Grid and take it to a new level. Number one, it's the work that we want to do around signals and make those signals smarter using maybe some of the natural language processing capabilities, understanding what's happening, inside those emails, exchanges, calendar invites, those calls, right? We can gain that data and produce even better signals than today, so the sales team really knows where to focus their attention. One other way is to track the analytical data about the time allocation and how time is allocated today between different deals, making sure that time is allocated to the best deal and the most important deal, both for the salesperson and for the company overall. The third one is, with our pipeline, we have specific ways, specific analytical dimensions that we use for our pipeline. We're planning to add those to the pipe. Last but not least, and this is one more on the exploratory side, we are also trying to bring about new opportunities, new leads. What about the signals about the new leads that are coming in? That's an area that we are also exploring. I think one of the important things to mention about this space, this revenue intelligence space, because there are a lot of different products, there are a lot of different companies that are trying to address this. Bringing that detailed data, aggregating it, and making sure that the executive team can make smart, intelligent decisions about their pipeline, about how to allocate the efforts of the company, allocate the efforts of the sales team. That's really the key. And I think that a lot of companies may pay a little less attention to that. We as a consultancy organization, we certainly see people struggling every day with things like this. Every day, companies, big and small, they have the struggles of making the right decisions and making objective decisions, right? Because sometimes it's the decision who is the loudest person in the room, instead of making that objectively on the data. The ability of Revenue Grid, bringing that interaction data, aggregating that, and showing it to the executive team, I think is amazing, and I think that's really where the focus should be.